Okay, on the news hour tonight, let's introduce the guests with me here in the studio. I'm delighted to have with me Vinod Sharma tonight, senior journalist, political editor of the Hindustan Times, also senior journalist Nirja Chaudhary, senior journalist and author and columnist Ashok Malik, who's with Tehelka. Thank you very much. With us also tonight is Smriti Irani, Member of Parliament of the Bharatiya Janata Party. I'm also joined by Kumar Ketkar, who's the editor of the Divya Marathi of the Dainik Bhaskar group. Other panelists just joining in. My first question is to you, Kumar Ketkar. Let's start by, this is legally a clean chit. So when something becomes legally a clean chit, then what follows is that politically also there should be a clean chit.
Well, I don't think exactly we can describe this as a legal clean chit, because this is an SIT report and which has already been challenged in the Supreme Court or is going to be challenged in the Supreme Court. So I think the clean chit will be given only when the Supreme Court gives its judgment. And so far, Supreme Court has not given it is SIT. And moreover, it's not question of only legal perception. It is also a question of political perception. And that political perception, I don't think has changed at all. As you can see from the comments in the press as well as among the public, that political perception does not hold Narendra Modi as acquitted, as exonerated, or as considered non-guilty. So I think it is a very, very dicey situation. Let us not jump to conclusion. Let us not go too far and say that Narendra Modi has been declared as non-guilty, acquitted, and therefore his ambition for prime ministership has now green signal. I think that is going too far.
No, but prima facie it is a high for Narendra Modi. It is a high, because if the SIT report, if any of these 7 points, let's go to Smriti Irani, if any of these 7 points had been against Narendra Modi, that a lot of people who are against Narendra Modi would have discounted the other 6 and focused on that one and said he must resign on that basis. So let me get Smriti Irani's reaction.
I think that there are certain people in the country who will never change their own definition or understanding of Narendra Modi, but I think as a Chief Minister he is defined by the people who vote for him and people for whom he is delivered on issues of development. I would want to in fact like to attract your attention on the timing of this particular leak. UP is going to polls, and I find it extremely interesting that before the UP polls, the Congress has this grand announcement of a minority quota, defying all EC norms. Salman Khurshid, who is a senior congressman and a respectable minister in the UPA government, goes ahead and announces a 9% quota for minorities. And now when the minority population in UP does not fall for the quota honey trap of the Congress, they take out this good old Gujarat horse which they want to whip and flog so that they can attract more and more and consolidate a vote bank in UP. I think that
what are you suggesting, Smriti Irani? What are you suggesting?
Highlight on the fact
who's leaked what? Are you saying Narendra Modi leaked the SIT report? No, are you saying Narendra Modi leaked the SIT report? He couldn't have. Or Raghavan leaked the SIT report. He couldn't have.
May I? I'm saying that the SIT, which has been constituted by the Supreme Court of India, has reported to the Supreme Court of India 14 times before this. Why has this leak happened? Why is it that the central government has chosen through certain spokespeople, to comment on a so-called leak, on a report which is lying sealed somewhere in a court? And people are making all kinds of accusations.
I thought you'd welcome the report. I thought you'd welcome the findings of the report.
I think.
But you seem to be concerned about a report which, at least in the media, seems to give Mr. Modi a clean chit.
Let me speak, Arnab. I think as a responsible political organization, one needs to question the timing of the leak. But yes, as a member of the BJP, let me state this. As the leader of opposition today has stated, that 3 different investigations has taken place into the riots. One by the Gujarat police, one by the SIT constituted by Supreme Court comprising of officers of Gujarat police, one by SIT constituting of ex-CBI officers. Time and again, all allegations have been looked into, no evidence has been found, but it seems that certain people who have made an industry out of maligning Modi and the Gujarat government will not
Smriti, now that you have made this allegation, and I must, with all the force at my command, because Times Now broke the story last evening at 10 o'clock, with all the force at my command, it's not a political leak. No politician came and handed us the story. It is a damn good bit of journalism which came out because we cultivated our sources, and they've given us 7 points today. But that's not the issue. Let's get the reactions to the substantive part of this whole debate. Let me get you in, Ashok Malik. Does it give Narendra Modi a clean chit? How will he use this opportunity?
To be fair, for 10 years I've argued that television studios are not the place to try, much less convict Narendra Modi. If I'm to be true to that logic, a television studio is not the place to exonerate him either. The matter is before the court, let the court decide.
Fine.
Having said that, I'm not surprised by what you say are the findings of this report.
Yes.
Because there have been earlier investigations which into Mr. Modi's role, and they have come up with similar findings. As far as I know, as far as there is there in the public domain, the SIT did not find any new evidence. So therefore, it would be logical that they would find no evidence against him. And coming to whether this clears the way for him to come to Delhi or something, frankly, it has to go through right up to the Supreme Court.
Do you think some of these issues are subjective for that matter? Let me draw you in, Nirja Chaudhary. No, 1 second. On the whole issue, there are some people who have said that during the riots, bodies were brought in from Godhra, they were got to Ahmedabad and they were paraded. Now, according to this report, it was a logical and well thought out good decision to bring the bodies to Ahmedabad because the DNA identification could happen, because the bodies were only brought in at night. In other words, this report says that all those people who have been putting out this theory that there was a deliberate attempt at provoking people post the Godhra riots is absolutely wrong. Nirja Chaudhary, is that the last word?
I think the report has been submitted to the court. And once it's made public, we will know the depositions also, the documents, what people said,
but the
basis on which the SIT has come to these seven conclusions.
Would you dismiss the SIT report?
No, I don't dismiss it at all. You would not put out something that you did not have access to.
Sure.
I'm saying that SIT has interpreted the depositions and the evidence before it. The trial court will do its own interpretation.
But it's been 10 years. There has been no evidence, new evidence against Modi in 10 years. So Vinod Sharma, what is the chance that there will be new evidence which will emerge now after 10 years?
No, Arnab, first of all, I'd like to say that I don't want to comment on whether or not this report, I would like to read it myself, but I respect your sources.
Sure.
And your enterprise in getting this out. Now, may I tell you that there is a striking resemblance, similarity, between what you are seeing in the Metropolitan Magistrates Court and what you saw in Judge Saini's court. You see, the CBI had given the Home Minister a clean chit, but Dr. Swamy went to Judge Saini's court with his own evidence and presented it before Judge Saini, and Judge Saini took a decision in his wisdom. Now, similarly here, if you read para 9 of the September 12 judgment of the Supreme Court, it very clearly lays down the road forward, which is that SIT, either it factors in amicus curiae's report, Raju Ramachandran's report.
Yes.
We do not know what is there in Raju Ramachandran's report. He was a court-appointed lawyer. He was a friend of the court. And he has given his report. Then there is evidence.
No, but the SIT has countered that report and placed a closure report.
Call on that now has to be taken by the judge, Metropolitan Magistrate, before whom the SIT has gone.
So you're saying irrespective of what the SIT has said, if this matter does not get, it can get thrashed?
It can get thrashed because, you see, now the Supreme Court permitted Zakir Jafri that you would have a right to be heard before a decision is taken by the judge on the SIT report. If the SIT report does not factor in the evidence that you are trying to adduce.
No, but there has to be some fresh evidence. I mean, there is, I am told, the 600-page report, 80 pages of conclusions. It's a substantial conclusion which has been drawn by the SIT.
But the court in its wisdom, as in the case of 2G, had laid down the roadmap, and it is very similar to what Mr. Panchamram had to go through. Mr. Narendra Modi will have to be found to be innocent in the eyes of the magistrate.
Is that a permanent position that you have? I mean, the charge here is, Smriti Irani raised her hand there because, the argument here is some people have a permanent problem with Mr. Narendra Modi.
It's not a permanent problem.
The Gujarat High Court has ruled that Narendra Modi does not have to appear before the Nanavati Commission.
For a minute. I am quoting, if you want I can read this out. I can give you this judgment. Read paragraph 9. No, it's very clearly written that if if for any stated reason the SIT opines in its report to be submitted in terms of this order that there is no sufficient evidence of reasonable ground for proceeding against any person named in the complaint dated 8 June 2006, before taking a final decision on such closure report, the court shall issue notice to the complainant and make available to her copies of the statements of the witnesses, other related documents and the investigation report strictly in accordance with the law as enunciated by this court. And then they said you will have to hear him. She will have the right to be heard by the court before it comes to a conclusion on the SIT report.
No, is this an attempt to keep this whole issue alive?
It is not an attempt. It's the Supreme Court
because if Narendra Modi is given a clean sheet.
Supreme Court has decreed this.
Well, the High Court yesterday has also said many embarrassing things about Narendra Modi. Tonight I'm discussing what's happening.
No, but I'm talking about the apex court.
Okay, now let's get the response. Let's get the response. You're telling me the process of law. So, Smriti Irani, the whole argument that I find in the introductory comments is there is a process of law, and please do not hurry to give Mr. Narendra Modi a clean sheet. It may work for you politically. You may admire Narendra Modi, but don't hurry. Because it's the same argument that you put out falls flat. You have a reverse argument when it comes to Mr. P. Chidambaram. When it comes to P. Chidambaram on Saturday, your party was putting out a completely contrary argument. Yes, Smriti.
Arnab, can I answer? Firstly, I would like to say that your voice is a bit distorted on my talkback, but let me just answer on the basis of the gist of what I heard Mr. Sharma say. I'm extremely surprised that he draws a parallel between Judge U.P. Saini's observation about Mr. P. Chidambaram and this so-called SIT report which has been leaked, or the Gujarat cases that he seeks to compare. Let me say this, that in the 2G case, the CBI claimed that no investigation needs to be taken in when Mr. P. Chidambaram's role in the 2G spectrum scam was to be investigated. In the Godhra riots or the Gujarat riots case, time and again the CBI has been summoned at the will of the UPA to interfere, to intervene, to find evidence, to basically drag the government of Gujarat through the entire legal process, thereby using the CBI as an instrument of the Congress government trying to destabilize the government of Gujarat. There's a huge difference between the two cases.
My friend,
as far as Sharmaji, let me speak.
I'm not quoting.
Here, Mr. Sharma. Here, Mr. Sharma.
Smriti, please, you are on the wrong here. You see, please, for God's sake.
I am not, sir. Just because you don't like what I'm saying, that doesn't mean I'm wrong.
Chidambaram, saying that the CBI has not been fair in its investigations, and that is why it has not taken into account the evidence sought to be adduced by Dr. Swamy. In this case, there is a striking similarity. The claim is that the evidence sought to be induced by Ehsan Jafri's wife and some NGOs has not been factored in by the SIT.
Yes, so
now the judgment will be rest with the Metropolitan Magistrate, as in the case of Judge Saini.